English 2 students, Mrs. Delp here. Hope you guys are hanging in there. You should have read chapter 11 before listening to this, and then have taken your quiz. I'm gonna go over kind of an analysis of the chapter, dive into it a little bit more in depth with the foreshadowing and symbolism that we've seen. And then you're gonna answer. I'm gonna give you an options to select a question that you are gonna respond to with a paragraph. Okay, and that'll be your writing for the week. Okay, so chapter 11 is Castle Rock, and that is Jack's kind of his throne, so to speak. And we see that he is overtaking the boys. He's kind of the main leader. There's only a few following Ralph, and those are Piggy, Sam, and Eric. Okay, so foreshadowing we've talked about a ton. You know, my favorite is Of Mice and Men, but we've also done that a little bit in seen some of that in our short stories that we read this year. But foreshadowing is an important technique in Lord of the Flies, and Golding uses indirect foreshadowing throughout the book. Nearly every plot event is foreshadowed in the establishing chapters, creating a sense of certainty to the event. So I'm going to talk about this, how from the very beginning of this book, from the get-go, subtle hints to the end were hinted. Okay, and that's foreshadowing. So Piggy's death is an important plot point in Lord of the Flies, and is foreshadowed from the first time we see his character. However, the exact nature of his death is an instance of false foreshadowing, as Golding sets up the reader to believe Piggy will die from his physical frailty, not violence. Piggy's death signifies the end of Ralph's fragile troop and a victory by the forces of violence and brutality over the forces of wisdom and kindness and civility. Okay, key point right there. Violence and brutality win, overtake the forces of wisdom, kindness, and civility. Okay. Also, the death is foreshadowed in early pages when Piggy tells Ralph he has asthma, can't swim, needs his glasses to see, and is sick from the fruit. Sucks to your Arsmar, Ralph replies in his British accent. And that's the first chapter, foreshadowing the boys' lack of concern about Piggy's physical vulnerability. When Jack breaks one of the lenses in Piggy's glasses, a foreshadowing of his fragility is repeated and his dependence on his glasses for survival. Later, he can't catch his breath and blue shadows creep around his mouth, suggesting he will suffocate while the boys look for the beast. So we assume these little hints that Piggy's not set up for this living in the wild, right? He has asthma, he's a little bit overweight, and they think, there's subtle hints that we think that he's just not going to make it because of that. His death comes through, it's the fact that his death comes through an act of violence instead of his own physical condition defies the expectations set up by all the previous foreshadowing Golding does. At the same time, the fact that the boys hunt pigs foreshadow the violent nature of Piggy's death, and when Jack says, "If only I could get a pig." So pretty much every chapter we dive into symbolism, because this is the most prevalent literary device Golding uses in this is symbolism. Piggy's death and the destruction of the conch is symbolic of the total breakdown of society and reason. Okay, so let's summarize some key events in this chapter. From the beginning, Ralph and Jack are starting to fight again, but Piggy asks to speak and Ralph relents. Piggy raises the conch and once more calls them all kids and argues that it's better to be sensible than savage. Piggy literally holds on to civilization, the conch. Okay, he's fighting for that. He's holding on, hoping that people, the other boys, will see that this is what they need, not Jack. His civilized argument, based on what's right, ignores the savage rule of dominance by the strong. So Roger pushes a boulder from the fort. Ralph dives out of the way, but Piggy can't see without his glasses. The boulder hits him head on, and the conch explodes. So that two things, Piggy's death and the conch exploding in that instant, is the destruction of civilization. Order. The boulder pushes Piggy over the cliff onto the rocks below. Blood leaks from his head, and a wave pulls his dead body into the sea. Civilization still has a hold on Roger, and the tribe brings Sam and Eric into the fort. Jack prods them with his spear to terrorize them and make them fearful into joining his tribe. Okay, so remember, Sam and Eric were on Ralph's side. Now Piggy's dead, and Jack's picking on Sam and Eric, prodding them to join his side. Roger brushes past Jack, making it clear that he knows how to inflict torture. Ralph emphasizes the importance of rescue. But Jack and his group no longer care about rescue. They simply obey Jack. Okay, the fact that Roger's the reason why Piggy dies. Okay, he pushed the boulder. So we can sense that he kind of has more power right now. And then that image of Roger brushing past Jack, kind of undermining his authority. Like, Jack, you don't know what you're talking about. Making it clear that he knows how to inflict torture. Okay? So we're going to see that here, his ego, and he's trying to be power hungry in this scene. Okay. Key themes throughout this: civilization, savagery and the beast, strong versus weak. We see all these, right? We see this civilization is the conch, savagery and the beast. Okay, this is the fear that Jack instills in them. This savagery, we see how they react to each other and interact. And then we do see the struggle between the strong versus the weak. Okay, so first, civilization. What's this mean? Okay, so the famous psychologist Sigmund Freud argued that without the innate human capacity to repress desire, okay, if we can't repress, like have control over our desires and what we want, kind of our impulses, if we can't control that, civilization would not exist. Okay, in Lord of the Flies, Golding makes a similar argument. He depicts civilization as a veil that through its rules and laws makes the evil within every individual. So even while civilizations thrive, they are merely hiding the beast. They have not destroyed it. Okay, so right here, depicting civilization as a veil. Okay, the veil is the rules and laws that we have, even in our society. But we see, though, when that veil is revealed or shed, what comes out? That inner beast, like that inner evilness, without rules, democracy, accountability. People are capable of really terrible things. The Lord of the Flies is a written account of how civilization can give way to the savagery within human nature. As boys shaped by the supremely civilized British society, okay, before this, they were, went to a all-boys school, private school, civilized British society. They knew rules, how to be proper, and how to be good. But they become savage, guided only by the fear, superstition, and desire, okay? We see that Jack instilled in the boys. Okay, savagery and the beast. The beast, a symbol Golding uses to represent the savage impulses lying deep within every human being. Civilization exists to suppress the beast, right? To cover it. By keeping the natural human desire for power and violence to a minimum, civilization forces people to act responsibly and rationally, as boys like Piggy and Ralph do in Lord of the Flies. Okay, so Piggy and Ralph right here symbolize civilization, represent that. Savagery arises when civilization stops suppressing the beast, okay? The beast overcomes them all. They can't suppress it or hide it anymore. It's all within them. They're afraid of it, and it's what's driving them to do these things. It's the beast unleashed, so to speak, and savages not only acknowledge the beast, they thrive on it and worship it like a god. And that's like one of the questions I asked last week. Do we see Jack's tribe being more like a cult / a religious, doing some religious kind of rituals? Absolutely. Cults are created, and we've seen it through history. Cults are created through fear. Somebody, a leader, instills this fear in others, and then that fear drives them to trust that person. If you think about why the boys follow Jack, they follow Jack because in the moment, in the present, he provides for them. Ralph provides uncertainty. Like, there's no certainty they're going to get rescued. So they're believing Ralph this ideology where Jack's giving them food, okay? He's confident in himself. That confidence is what draws them to Jack, okay? Okay, so there is that cult-like mindset, and there's also some religious aspects, like offering things up. So they've created this beast, this pig's head, as like a god. They worship it. They serve up things to it. They give peace offerings to it. So those are little examples of how they are kind of becoming a cult and religious undertones. Screen keeps... Okay, strong versus weak. This chapter shows how boys fight to belong and be respected by the other boys. The main way in which the boys seek this belonging and respect is to appear strong and powerful. And in order to appear strong and powerful, boys give in the savage instinct to ignore, pick on, mock, or even physically abuse boys who are weaker. Exactly, we see that with Piggy. And then just at the very end, Sam and Eric. Okay, Piggy dies. So the only people left following Ralph are Sam and Eric. And that they're the weaker links, so Jack's like poking, prodding. And then we see that power struggle. Roger steps in front of him, is like, I got this. Saying, implying that Jack doesn't know how to torture people. Okay, so this is what you're going to do now. If you're for college prep, okay, you are going to, and this is all in Renwald and Google Classroom, you're going to choose one of these prompts, and then you're going to write at minimum half-page response, double-spaced, with textual evidence, examples from the chapter to support, or the novel to support your response. Don't just give me 1 or 2 sentences, at least 5 to 6, explaining this in detail, okay? Support it with evidence from the text. Now, honors, you're going to choose 2, so you're going to write a 1-page response. Make sure you title your response with the title of the prompt, okay? So you're going to choose, it says 2 of the following journal prompts and write a half-page response. This is for honors, okay? I'm going to edit this slide when I post it to make it more clear. So college prep, you're going to choose 1 prompt, write a response. Honors, 2 prompts, write a response. Okay, college prep, half page, honors, 1 page. Include the title of the prompt you choose at the top or beginning of your response, like lost, assembly, fight, beast. It'll make more sense when I go through this. Okay, you must include textual evidence and specific examples from the novel for credit. Otherwise, I'm going to send it back and you're going to go back and forth. Do it right the first time, and then you can knock it out and not have to worry about it, okay? Full credit will be earned for college prep, half page. Honors, 1 page. Serious thoughts on this subject, okay? I just really want you guys to put some effort. Okay, so first one, Lost, chapter 11. How do you think it feels to Ralph to no longer have fire? Talk about what fire means to Ralph, what he needed it for. Think about how he feels about the situation. He really wants to get rescued. What is happening? Now no one's following him but Sam and Eric. Maybe. We'll see in chapter 12. Okay? Elaborate a full response on this. Assembly. Why does Piggy feel like gathering an assembly is all we got? Why does he feel this way? What does he feel like an assembly is going to do for them? What is going on in the chapter? Think about what Piggy uses to call the assembly, what that represents. Talk about Piggy follows Ralph. What does Piggy believe wholeheartedly in that conflicts with Jack? Okay, elaborate, discuss, meaningful textual evidence. Okay, fight. Why are Ralph and Jack fighting over hunting or the signal fire? Okay, think about what's Ralph know and want? What's the signal fire important for? Jack, why does he want to hunt? Why is that so important to him? They've been fighting about this for almost the whole novel. So what is their battle really about? Think a higher level thinking, not just the very surface meaning, okay? The whole book. What is Ralph versus Jack? Talk about their leadership styles versus each other. Talk about their goals, their drives. Be detailed, textual evidence, okay? Okay, the beast. The first person Ralph ever calls a beast is Jack. Kind of symbolic there. We saw that. And Ralph yells the words at his rival. Why do you think Ralph feels like Jack is a beast? Give specific detail that suggests that Jack is the beast, is a beast. What is the beast in general? Like, what is that idea? Think about Golding's overall message about when you strip civilization, order, and democracy. When that goes away, people are going to be driven into their innate evil side. Like, we all have this evil side. And so without order and rules, then they're allowed to do whatever they want. Okay? Some, we see in this book that some are just going to go with good morals because they know it's the right thing to do and they want to treat people right. We saw that in Simon, right? He was good. Ralph is good. But there's also people that without laws and civilization are going to do some really terrible things and revolt. So elaborate, discuss on that idea. Okay. Say that's it for this discussion lecture. So like I said, please provide textual evidence. College prep's going to choose one and respond to a half page. Honors, you're going to choose 2 full page. Reach out via email anytime through Google Classroom or email me any questions, concerns. Stop in my office hours. But hope you guys are doing well and hanging in there. I know this is just hard for everyone. So thinking about you, miss you, and we'll be in touch.